younger days, I should say, younger days, training, sir, as a young cadet at Harrison Point. And I reflected on my first cadet camp, summer camp, sir, experience at what was then, because the naval base had been abandoned, we had set up tents over by the lighthouse site. But I remember, sir, the sense of purpose and a sense, sir, the camaraderie that one would have in relation to meeting other cadets from other schools and the like, sir. And then as a senior cadet, sir, when the base had received a little more attention, when we were actually housed within the barracks themselves, which is now clearly the isolation facility that we stood up for COVID-19. And I looked at the proposed site on the resolution, sir. I remember training youngsters in fieldcraft, sir, on the very site, sir, and the surrounding areas that this particular facility is to be constructed. I felt it was important that I stood in this debate, not just from an economic imperative, sir, and to see that there is development and investment coming for Barbados, but to realize that the things that are the use, I should say, of things in the past, sir, things will change over time, and therefore, as a country seeking to provide opportunities for young people, then I believe that the citizens, certainly, of St. Lucie can certainly look forward to the transformation that I believe, sir, that this specific investment and proposal, not just in education, but certainly with respect to the enhancement of medical services, not just for the persons of St. Lucie, but I think for Barbados, we will all stand to benefit, sir, from this transformation. And it is important to recognize, sir, that this Barbados Labour Party has been consistent, sir, with respect to how we see the economy diversifying on the one hand, sir, but equally, sir, ensuring that as it relates to the provision of public services, that we find innovative ways, sir, of leveraging our strengths, which Barbados has long been known for having strength in both education services, sir, as well as medical services. And this specific intervention today, I believe, will unlock, sir, two strengths all at the same time by being able to leverage both the educational strength of the country in addition to the medical side, but more focused now on the dental side. And the Honourable Member for St. Philip North, in her contribution, sir, raised a number of issues which I too certainly would want to lend my support to, because in recent times, and I suspect, sir, it perhaps has to do with the way the pandemic evolved and the disruption in supply chains and the like, sir, in relation to how the provision of dental implants and the like, sir, in the way that it is being done now, caused somewhat of a disruption within the process. The truth is, sir, that anything related to, as you would appreciate, sir, in the Ministry of Finance, I have no particular, or nobody in the Ministry of Finance has no particular expertise in anything that is medical. And therefore, we've been working with the Ministry of Health to understand what has been happening in relation to the treatment, if you like, of the process in terms of getting dental prostheses done in the country. And as I understand it, sir, if you have to go and get some type of dental prostheses, it is fitted. It has to be in a mold. It has to go outside to some lab, perhaps in Miami or somewhere in the United States, and comes back. And therefore, there's a little bit of a back and forth, so to speak. And therefore, the arrangements around the importation with customs and health, certainly as really the competent authority within the space, we're trying to regularize that so that the Ministry of Health, being the competent authority in that respect, would have the capacity to be able to clear those items as appropriate rather than relying solely on the Customs Department as well as the agents to be able to work through that. And therefore, I'm confident we'll be able to find a solution to that. But I believe, based on what I have heard and read in relation to this matter, that the establishment of this dental school in St. Lucie, working with local dentists to, again, develop that type of expertise and capability locally, I think will stand to benefit Barbados in a significant way and eliminate the need for dentists to have to fit a prosthesis to you, ship it overseas, and come back, and then you having to wait, sir. And therefore, I know that whilst this is just the acquisition of the land, that once we can get the process accelerated and get the construction completed, sir, that those issues would be resolved long term, and I know that we can't solve it overnight, but I'm absolutely confident, sir, that we will be able to solve those issues, because at the end of it, sir, we all know that we've had some issues with respect to the provision of dental care in the country. We've heard in this very Parliament when the Ministry of Health has come to present their estimates, some of the concerns that were raised in relation specifically to the provision of having enough dentists to be able to supply the services within the polyclinics, and then equally, sir, in relation to the child dental care program as well. And I'm confident, sir, that working with these entities that we will be able to resolve these matters from a capacity perspective. Now, with each intervention like this, sir, we have sought to sit with the investor, particularly in the context of provision of medical services, to work with the Ministry of Health to determine obviously what would be the access for public patients in regards to these matters. And I believe that, again, leveraging the strength of our position both in education and health, that the Ministry of Health will be able to communicate in due course, once everything is up and running, what would be the specific terms or conditions in relation to this matter. And therefore, it is going to be important for Barbadians to appreciate that there's going to be a development phase of this initiative, unlike that with Ross that took the operations into LESC. The contemplation is to build a specific facility to be able to deal with the provision of these educational services, sir. And from what I've been able to see from the 3D renderings of the architectural designs, it looks like a transformational space that I think persons in the environs of Maycock, sir, and Broomfield will be able to see within their space what would be a very, very modern facility. But I am more than confident that what they'll be perhaps more interested in would be, one, not just the medical services that they too and all the rest of Barbados can access, but what is going to be important when these students arrive, sir, is that they're going to need some place to stay. And just like Ross students have been occupying a lot of the properties in the south, I would imagine that properties available in the north, close to campus, even within walking distance, I suspect that the member for St. Lucie will be having a quiet word with those who may have capacity within Broomfield and Maycock, especially close walking distance, sir, to the facility, that if you want to spruce up and add on a little room or two, that there might be the possibility for that. And certainly, sir, across St. Lucie and St. Peter, I suspect you would see rental accommodation. The increase in demand will be there, and therefore, once, unlike, I know the Honourable Member made the point in regards to Pickering, that once, not just that ground breaks, but this project comes to completion, that persons will be seeing with their own eyes the progress in relation to the project, and therefore will make those decisions for themselves in relation to whether they want to provide accommodation services to students. As you would appreciate, sir, as is the norm, when people normally visit a campus, they will stay on whatever campus accommodation for the first year, and then obviously the subsequent years they will go out and seek accommodation within the community, and therefore I equally anticipate that a similar experience will happen in the north that will bring additional activity in relation to the environs of St. Lucie to be able to drive this process forward. Now, sir, there are lots of persons out there. I said a lot, so let me say there are lots. There really aren't a lot. There are few people out there who don't understand how to engineer growth, sir. They talk about it as if it's something in an exam. This Barbados Labour Party has been and continues to work as quickly as we can, sir, to unlock investment and opportunities for Barbadians to participate, and this serves equally as an example, sir, as to how we are going to bring growth to different parts of the country, sir. And whilst it is a national effort, the reality is that we want the recovery to be as inclusive as possible. And therefore, we have been looking at how we spec out, sir, areas within the country in order to bring, where there's capacity, sir, to use and absorb some of that capacity. And I think this site in the north serves as an example as to how you can energize, sir, activity in the north, given that we are seeing a transition, if you like, sir, in relation to things in the economy. And as you would appreciate, sir, you always have to balance what is new from what maybe as other entities are going through their own transition, that this will help to boost the local economy, certainly in St. Lucie, but I believe it will equally, sir, allow for additional business opportunities to come to the specific space. As you would appreciate, sir, the provision of services to the entity would be required, and the truth is that it really does give an opportunity for persons who operate within northern Barbados to be able to provide services to that particular space. And the truth is, sir, is that we want to be able to build out an ecosystem of activities that will energize local communities and to bring new areas of opportunity within the space. And as you would appreciate, sir, that with the enhancement of technology and what is contemplated within the context of the cutting edge type of research and delivery of health dental services in the country, then I know that the training opportunities for our local dentists, as well as the opportunity for ordinary Barbadians to have access to some services that are not currently available in the country, is going to be critically important, sir, for us to be able to lift our game. And I know, sir, that I know dentists now who go every couple of weeks, sir. Well, the pandemic had a little bit of a damper on it, but I know dentists, sir, that go down to the Eastern Caribbean for a week, 2 weeks, and they perform services and they come back, sir, on a regular basis. Every 4 to 6 weeks they do this, sir. And the truth is, it means that with this type of investment that we could do potentially more. And therefore, one should not see this as any competition, so to speak, but how do we enhance Barbados' ability, sir, to provide dental services, not just for the local population, but equally, sir, for either persons to come to Barbados to have dental surgeries completed, or for some of that capacity that we have built to be able to go and do more services across the region, and to help bolster, sir, an area that really and truly, sir, up until now is quite limitless. And the truth is that, as the Honourable Member for St. Philip North spoke, dental health is critical, and therefore we want to be able to roll out as much as possible, sir, a very comprehensive dental care program that will allow Barbadians not just to access it, but access it affordably, sir. And I believe that this type of investment and this type of opportunity can lay a very strong platform, sir, for us to be able to drive that. So as a growth plank, sir, it ticks two critical boxes, if you like, sir, because it leverages, as I said earlier, both the education as well as the health component in relation to this. But it provides a very important stimulus for Northern Barbados, and we hope that with the additional activities to come on stream, that we will be able to build on this type of investment and to show Barbadians that you can attract strong investment, but it means you must create the environment, sir, that people would want to come and invest in Barbados. And that is why the government's reform program continues apace, because in order to make things conducive, sir, if you like, for investments like these, is that, and I think the Honourable Member for St. Lucie made it clear, when you have and you build relationships with Barbadians abroad, and they start to feel that sense of pride again in the country, sir, because I am not sure that if it was prior to 2018, sir, with sewage flowing in the streets and garbage not being collected, sir, no buses catching on fire, you name it, sir, I'm not sure that people would have that same sense to say, I want this for Barbados. And that is why it's important, sir, that the way that a government governs, sir, sends a signal for people to make those decisions, because on the face of it, sir, you could go to Cayman and pay next skin and nothing in taxes, sir, and get all the fancy things that you can get there. But I believe it's important that who is making the decisions, that there is a connection to Barbados and people wanting Barbados to do well. And I commend the Honourable Member for his intervention, because had it not been for a very strong record of this government, sir, in the last 5 years, even his impassioned plea may not have been enough if we had not done what we had to do prior to COVID, during COVID, sir, that would say to a Barbadian, you can have the confidence that we can get this investment landed here and to be able to get it to where we need to get it to. And we must commend ourselves, sir, not just for achieving that, but showing Barbados, sir, that in spite showing Barbados that in spite of all of the challenges we face, sir, that there are still people who will come to defend the interests of Barbados. And I thank the Honourable Member for his intervention, because it is that type of intervention that serves to set the platform for what is possible for people in this country. And I dare say, sir, that in a few years' time, there will be plenty of residents from St. Lucie who might very well attend that same school, simply because, sir, there was an opportunity, unlike the last government, sir, that imposed fees for tertiary education in this country. I see this as an opportunity where not just that students could attend that university, but at some point in the future they may very well be part of the faculty of the said university, sir. But the only way that you can even contemplate that, sir, is if you set the vision in play, show people what is possible, and then obviously create a platform where they too can fully participate in the process. So this is going to be transformational, not just for Barbados, as we would like to say, but I imagine, sir, that just as I was doing fieldcraft in the very spot that this thing is going to be built, sir, that some youngster from Broomfield or Maycox, sir, will look at this as an opportunity to see themselves in this space as one of the world's foremost eminent dentists or dental surgeons, sir, performing whatever procedures they may have to do, simply because a government had the capacity and the courage, sir, to be able to do what was required in the interest of the country and to be able to signal a very clear future for this. And so, sir, I am happy to support this resolution. There's more to come. I wish that we could get the building up in 2 weeks, sir, and get the thing open by September and get the students here by December, sir. But as with everything, sir, it takes time. And therefore, this is one part of the puzzle piece that allows us to clear the way, sir, for this investment to take place. And therefore, the Ministry of Finance, working with the Ministry of Health, certainly the Ministry of Housing, will ensure that we do, and the Ministry of Education, for that matter, to make sure that all of the necessary regulations and support that is required to get this done, all of the accreditation, all of those things would be in place, sir, because we want that when the doors are open for teaching, sir, as well as the practice side in relation to whether it's community dental services and the like, sir, that everything is in place for us to be able to move this process forward. And so, sir, with those very few words, I am obliged to you.
Honourable Member for St. George South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First, let me thank the colleagues who contributed to this important debate. Land acquisition at Harrison's of 9.024 acres. And Mr. Speaker, this land, we will be back to Parliament sometime soon with respect to the vesting of this land. But we have expressed the way this government intends to build out not only its housing stock, tourism product, and push new frontiers to give people, ordinary Barbadians, the opportunity to earn a living, and for us to grow, to innovate, and to create this industry that we will be investing in, the dental sector, the health sector, would indeed spur not only foreign exchange, but indeed give Barbados the opportunity to export products, dental products, manufacturing industry. And I know the member for St. Michael North, I know he's actively looking forward to that day when we will begin to export dental products from Barbados to the first world countries and even to the Caribbean region. And he's also looking forward to the day when Barbados becomes the hub for dental technology. And Mr. Speaker, what this will redound to is indeed growth within our economy. And Mr. Speaker, and then most say Prime Minister, and Mr. Speaker, I spent a long time with her. And Mr. Speaker, as we close this debate, the message here, Barbadians are better off than they were 5-10 years ago. Barbadians will be better off 15 years down the road as we continue to develop and push new frontiers for growth in this country. And with those few words, Mr. Speaker, I beg that this resolution do now pass.
The question is that this resolution do now pass. All those honourable members in favour, please say aye. Those against, please say no. Meeting the ayes have it. This resolution stands passed.
Mr. Speaker, with that, we've come to the end of our business for today. I therefore move that Parliament be adjourned until the 27th of June, sir. 10 a.m., 10 in the forenoon. 27th of June, Tuesday, 10 in the forenoon.
Honourable member, there are some papers that just came down. I would therefore wish that you revert to government business.
Mr. Speaker, sir, papers recommitted.
Honourable member St. Joseph.
Mr. Speaker, I'm commanded to lay the Barbados Optional Savings Bond Plus offer to the public amendment order of 2023. And Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm further commanded to lay the Barbados Optional Savings Bond Plus offer to the public monetary value of bonds number 2 order 2023.
Revert to government business.
Honourable member.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As I moments ago indicated, with that we've come to the end of our business for today, and I therefore move that Parliament be adjourned until the 27th of June at 10 a.m. in the forenoon.
The question is that this honourable chamber be adjourned until Tuesday, the 27th day of June 2023 at 10 a.m. in the forenoon. All those honourable members in favour, please say aye. Those against, please say no. Meeting the ayes have it. This honourable chamber stands adjourned until Tuesday, the 27th day of June 2023 at 10 a.m. in the forenoon.